Inclusive growth explained. Inclusive growth refers to economic growth that generates opportunities for all segments of the population and distributes the benefits of growth equitably across society. It goes beyond simply increasing the overall size of the economy, measured by GDP, and emphasizes the quality of growth, ensuring that marginalized and vulnerable groups are not excluded and have access to the fruits of economic progress. Key aspects of inclusive growth include equitable distribution, ensuring that the benefits of economic growth, such as income, employment opportunities, and access to resources, are shared fairly among different sections of society, including the poor, women, minorities, and rural populations. Equal opportunities, providing everyone with a fair chance to participate in and contribute to economic activity through access to education, healthcare, skills development, and productive employment. Social inclusion, integrating marginalized groups into the mainstream of economic, social, and political life. Poverty reduction, significantly reducing poverty and improving the living standards of the most vulnerable. Sustainability, ensuring that economic growth is environmentally sustainable and does not compromise the well-being of future generations. Why inclusive growth is crucial in the current world economy and India, and his head was always in the clouds. The concept of inclusive growth has gained prominence due to several pressing issues in the current global and Indian economies. Global context. Rising inequality. Many countries, both developed and developing, have witnessed a significant increase in income and wealth inequality. This can lead to social unrest, political instability, and hinder long-term economic progress. Social exclusion. Certain groups continue to face systemic barriers that prevent their full participation in the economy and society, leading to wasted potential and social fragmentation. Fragile growth. Economic growth that benefits only a small segment of the population is often unsustainable in the long run, as it can lead to social and political backlash. Global crises. Events like the COVID-19 pandemic have disproportionately impacted vulnerable populations, highlighting the need for more resilient and inclusive economic systems. Indian context. High levels of poverty and inequality. Despite rapid economic growth in recent decades, India still has a large number of people living in poverty and faces significant disparities in income, wealth, and access to opportunities across different regions, castes, genders, and rural-urban divides. Demographic dividend challenge. India has a large young population, but to harness this demographic dividend, it needs to create sufficient quality jobs and provide adequate education and skills training to all, ensuring their productive participation in the economy. Social and regional disparities. Deep-rooted social inequalities based on caste, religion, and gender, as well as significant regional disparities in development, hinder inclusive growth. Need for broad-based development. Economic growth concentrated in certain sectors or regions does not translate into widespread improvements in living standards for all citizens. Inclusive growth is essential for ensuring that the benefits of development reach all parts of the country and all sections of society. Key determining factors of inclusive growth in India. Achieving inclusive growth in India requires a multi-pronged approach focusing on several key determinants. Education and skill development. Investing in quality education and vocational training for all, particularly for marginalized groups, to enhance their employability and productivity. Healthcare and nutrition. Ensuring access to affordable and quality healthcare and improving nutritional outcomes, which are crucial for human capital development and overall well-being. Job creation. Promoting employment-intensive growth across various sectors with a focus on creating decent and productive jobs, especially in rural areas and for the informal sector. Financial inclusion. Expanding access to financial services like banking, credit, and insurance for all, enabling greater economic participation and reducing vulnerability. Infrastructure development. Investing in physical infrastructure, roads, electricity, water, sanitation, and digital infrastructure to connect remote areas, improve productivity, and create opportunities. Agricultural development. Enhancing agricultural productivity and incomes, as a significant portion of India's population still depends on agriculture for their livelihoods. Social justice and empowerment. Addressing social inequalities, empowering marginalized communities, promoting gender equality, and ensuring equal rights and opportunities for all. Good governance and institutions. Establishing transparent, accountable, and efficient governance structures, reducing corruption, and ensuring the rule of law to create a conducive environment for inclusive development. Social protection. Implementing effective social safety nets to protect vulnerable populations from economic shocks and provide a minimum level of security. Is inclusive growth a real GDP? No. Inclusive growth is not a measure of real GDP. Real GDP is a macroeconomic indicator that measures the total value of goods and services produced in an economy, adjusted for inflation. It focuses on the quantum of economic output. Inclusive growth is a broader concept that encompasses not just the amount of economic growth, but also its distribution and the opportunities it creates for all segments of society. While a healthy real GDP growth rate can be a necessary condition for inclusive growth, as it generates more resources and opportunities, it is not sufficient. High GDP growth can coexist with rising inequality and social exclusion if the benefits are not shared equitably. Inclusive growth aims to ensure that economic growth translates into tangible improvements in the lives of all citizens, particularly the poor and marginalized, which is not directly captured by GDP figures alone. Why need inclusive growth in India? Inclusive growth is not just a desirable goal, but a fundamental necessity for India's sustainable and equitable development due to the following reasons. Poverty reduction. It is the most effective way to lift millions out of poverty and improve their living standards by ensuring they have access to income-generating opportunities and essential services. Reduced inequality. By distributing the benefits of growth more equitably, inclusive growth can narrow the gap between the rich and the poor, leading to a more just and cohesive society. Social harmony and stability. High levels of inequality and exclusion can breed social unrest and political instability. Inclusive growth fosters a sense of fairness and belonging, contributing to social harmony. Human capital development. When all citizens have access to education, healthcare, and opportunities, it leads to a more skilled and productive workforce, boosting overall economic potential. Sustainable development. By integrating environmental and social considerations into the growth process, inclusive growth ensures that economic progress does not come at the cost of environmental degradation or social exclusion, making it more sustainable in the long run. Harnessing demographic dividend. To fully capitalize on its young population, India needs to create an inclusive environment where all young people have the opportunity to contribute to and benefit from economic growth. Strengthening democracy. Inclusive growth empowers marginalized communities and gives them a greater stake in the economic and political processes, strengthening democratic institutions. Long-term economic sustainability. An economy where a large section of the population is excluded or left behind is unlikely to achieve its full potential in the long run. Inclusive growth broadens the base of economic activity and creates more resilient and sustainable growth. In conclusion, inclusive growth is a critical imperative for India to achieve its aspirations of becoming a prosperous and equitable nation. It requires a conscious and concerted effort to design and implement policies that ensure that the benefits of economic growth reach all its citizens, leaving no one behind.